Hello everyone, welcome back to the drawing board. I am Nate Day. Today we're going to be doing something a little cute. I am currently running this through a stream on Picardo, since I have not given YouTube enough time to activate for live streaming. That's something we're going to correct in the future. For now, let's go ahead and start up. What I have here is blank canvas, as everyone can see. I have myself a set of two colors. It's kind of an off-white and our black, which is going to be our lining color. Now I'm trying a bit of an experiment with this today by blocking out some rough shapes to kind of make constructing it a little faster. So let's go ahead and get it going. I like to have my settings on the pen where it's quite a bit smaller on the output, which means I don't have to press quite as hard on the canvas for it to apply. It also means that by going very lightly, I get a very thin line. A little harder to see here, but you get the point. Okay, so let's give ourselves a little blob over here for our head. I'm going to put a little blob here for our upper body. Nothing too complex. Another one for the rest of the abdomen. Now you'll notice it's taking up a pretty good amount of the canvas. So let's move it and do a little resize. You can do resize on most programs by holding Control, Shift, and pressing the T key. This might vary on what you're using. I'm just adjusting my shape here a little bit, and I think that looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to put myself some stubby legs. The character we're drawing today is going to be done as a younger version of themselves, around 6 years old. So the proportions are going to be a little unusual. So this one will look a little more like my chibi style that I usually work with. And this one's a bit more static because I want it to just be a showcase of the character and all his cuteness. Now, before I go any further, the context of this picture is this cute collie character as a kid dressed up for Halloween or a birthday party in an astronaut suit, which I think is just an adorable idea. We'll want to have the head a little bit bigger. You know, kids tend to have that kind of wonky skull. But then, we're going to want to show the helmet here, so I'm going to block out a shape. It's a little bit bigger than the head. I'm going to have our little stubby tail over here. Make it nice and fluffy. Pop in some ears. And I'm going to do the color for the suit right there. Okay, so now I have a very rough idea of what I want to do. Maybe add in some hair. Yes, this is going to look so cute. Okay, so I have my reference up on my other screen. Sorry, you guys can't see that. Yeah, that looks good. And this particular character has a big old bushy, like, mane. So we just kind of prep for that ahead of time. And I think that'll do us good. Let's create our next layer. and start with our sketching. So let's go ahead and start over on the shoulder here. I'm using a bit of an experimental pen setting, so kind of bear with me on that. This will be very scratchy looking. It is just a sketch. But you'll very quickly see that my general idea seems to take shape. Now, visualizing is very important for any piece that you do. You want to make sure you at least have some kind of idea of where you want to take it. Occasionally we're forced to freehand or come up with something on the spot. Not my favorite thing, but it can be fun at times. Right here we have a little cheek. So what it's going to actually do is wrap around. This is going to be our face area. Top of the scalp up here, coming down the cheeks, and then of course our eyes will be here. So let's go ahead and pop in one of our eyes. As you can hear the clicking of my keyboard, I am hammering on Control Z. Don't be afraid to make corrections. And of course, because this is such a young character, we want to give nice big eyes. Being a little bit of a pain with me tonight. Okay, now I've got roughly the top of the eye. Let's go ahead and pop in cute little eyebrow here. It's just a cute little thing. And I plan to have this character smiling, so what I'm going to do is, instead of a downward curving line, I'm going to do this one a little more straight across. And that's because we're going to have a lift from the cheek, and I will quickly show you here with a different color. Let's see here. The way this is going to work is you'll have a muscle here lifted from the cheek, which means you'll have the lips roughly here that will push it up. Just a nice little neat trick there for you. So now that we have that, I can see where I want to put my nose. And I want to bring it off just a little bit further and give ourselves a nice cute schnoz. Oh my goodness, everybody, look at that schnoz. And then I'm going to bring down a separating line before I continue on with my smile. Now, a nice neat little trick is, instead of coming straight up, bring it down ever so slightly. Ooh. Again, having to hammer that correction key. Then I'm coming back over to the cheek, and then we can bring the smile in. And this gives us a nice, big, bright, beaming, childlike smile. Going to add a little bit of lip parsing there. And there we go. So let's get that other eye in here. Remember, we have only a certain distance from one eye to the next. So you do something like this where you just kind of add in a few lines to see how wide you want that to be. And then we can bring it in around. And you'll usually find yourself playing that by eye. Now, as you'll notice, I'd added in, kind of what would be some hair tuft up here. And that is not necessary. As I look at my ref sheet, I do not see that. So it simplified us a little bit here. Let's give him some big old puppy ears. And of course, they flop over, as any good collie would, with some fluffy stuff. There we go. Now, as you see, I have the ear kind of pushed a little bit, hanging a little bit off the skull since his head is tilting back. We're going to have him looking up, ever so slightly. Get the other ear in over here. And bam. So then let's add in the fluff from the neck. Lots of fluff, just some sketchy, scratchy little lines off the back. And just kind of pull the pen in towards where you want it to meet the figure. And you'll see how it kind of matches up and gives you the appropriate look you want. And I'm going to kind of add a couple of lines here, just showing where that part of the throat is going to be. Followed by the rest of our fluff. And there we go. We have our nice adorable smile. And I am going to avoid doing an especially detailed eye, as while that looks really good, it's actually much cuter if we just get our shape for it down. And remember, you want to have the eyes much closer together when you want it looking directly at something. And then we're just going to fill in the whole space. Nice big eyes. Oh, yes. And there we go. Look at that cute thing already. And of course, we'll add in a little eye shine. In this case, I'm just going to take an eraser. We'll use a hard edge eraser on this one. And just pop a couple of little orbs on either side to give that nice cute eye shine. We'll do just one or two more. Look at that bright smile. That's one happy pupper. Okay, and I'm going to add a couple of little blushy lines here. And let's throw in some whisker dots. Not a lot. He's just a pup. Kind of hard to see. And there we have our pupper's head. So moving down, I'm going to make sure that everything matches up. We have our shoulder here, which looks pretty good. So I'm going to just kind of peck at the canvas in the direction that I want to place the arms. About right there. He's going to have some big old astronaut gloves on. So it's going to make his little paws look really big and thick. Holding his helmet. And you'll notice as I go along, I'll kind of add in a few guiding lines just to show myself where I need to go with it. So we'll have finger there. We're going to add in these two fingers together. And then our final one up here. So now that we know where they're going to be, let's go ahead and fill them out. And look at that. Now I'm not really too happy with the placement of the thumb. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that. And just bring it up a little more. That looks good right there. And there we have our pupper grabbing his big old helmet. And again, just kind of peck at it a little to kind of try to show yourself where you're going to leave it at. And then follow through with the rest of the form. Since he has a bulky suit, I'm going to kind of fluff it out at the belt here. There we go. And then the same on the lower half. Just kind of puff it out a little bit. And then from there, just bring it on down. And let's see here. We're also going to do a bit of like a puff down here to show where the boots are going to be. And then I'm going to add a little crease here. This will show me where the top of the foot's going to lie. And we just follow through. Again, kind of puffing this out. This is where our fabric's going to kind of bunch up a little bit. And then whoop, swing it up a little bit for the rest of our leg. Now, our hip shape is going to be something like so. One line down, one line up. We don't necessarily need the one on the outside too much. So we just add a little bit to kind of show it's there. And then bring in the other one. And as you see, it gives our nice little leg for our pup. And he looks good. Let's go ahead and put in the tail. Since we all like big fluffy tails. And just, again, just some scratchy lines, just kind of showing that hair is everywhere. Jumping out everywhere at you. And I'm going to curl it in because he's a happy puppy. He's going to be wagging that tail. Just a happy wagging dog. Let's add in a little motion lines. Happy, happy dog. Oh yes, that is one happy pupper. So let's go ahead and finish out the other leg. And we're just going to kind of follow this one as a bit of a guide. And you'll want to offset whenever you do the legs to show that there's, you know, a surface that he's standing on. So about right here. And we'll just kind of mimic the other leg just a bit. And again, this will help you keep in mind where everything is placed on the figure. Doesn't have to be exact, but a close approximation is definitely something you want. And again, we'll add our little puff from the fabric, bring our line up, and this time we're going to bring it all the way up to meet the hip, which is going to be right at the end of the belt line here. And there we go. Then we finish up on this side, and our pupper has legs. So now we have all that. We're going to make our astronaut helm. One of the comments inside of stream here thinks a fishbowl helmet would be adorable. So we'll do something a little like that. We'll create a nice round shape here. But then what we're going to want to do is curve this line a little more straight, a little curved line inward. We're going to have that very classic style, kind of 1950s looking helmet. Look at that. Look at that cute pupper. And what we're going to want to do is add just a little bit of nubs over here, like some little mountainous looking bumps, just showing the fingers grabbing on. And as you can see, it tricks the eye and shows he's holding onto his helmet. Easy peasy. From here, we just kind of finish up our general shape of our pup. And we can remove our guiding shape. And as you see, we have a very rough look for our dog. But we're not done yet. Oh no. Now we're going to want to go into detail. And this all comes to personal creativity. Or in the case that you're doing, say, a commission or basing it off of something, just make sure to add in those little details. And I'm going to kind of change up the visor just a little bit. Like I did with the eyes, I'm going to blacken it in quite a bit. Now, since that's going to take a little bit longer than I want with that tool, I'm going to switch over to a pen. And I'm going to grab this softer kind of gray. And just use it to fill it in a little bit faster. Doesn't have to be the whole thing. When you get closer in, you'll want to go back to that pencil and help make it look more uniform. Contour along. Oh yes, you want a contour. Otherwise, it looks suddenly very, very sloppy. Very, very bad. And you can do this a little bit faster if you up the opacity on your pen. But I'm lazy and I don't want to. Because the pinky looks a little too long, I'm going to shave off a little bit of it. Not too much, just a little. And there we go. We have our darkened in visor. And I'm going to add a little bit of shine to that too. Just a little. Well, if my pen would cooperate with me. There we go. And look at that cube. All right. As you can see, it's progressing along quite nicely. And here we have a little bit of a creasing. So we're going to add in a little higher part here. And a slightly lower one here. That shows how the fabric will bunch up. Then you do more complex with that as you learn how that actually looks over time. So we're going to finish up his collar here. And look at that. Our pupper is coming together. Go ahead and finish out our line here. And our arm is done, for the most part. But let's go ahead and add in a little patch on the arm. Doesn't necessarily have to say anything on it, but just some flavor. Just to kind of make it a little bit more convincing. And this pupper has a harness. So we'll kind of blend that a little bit in with the belt. And how does the pupper get in and out of his suit? Well, a zipper. So let's go what would be straight down the middle of his torso. And we have our little zipper line. Yay, look at that pupper zipper line. And I'm going to go ahead and come down to the legs, and I'm going to add in some pouches. There's a good pouch there. And then we'll do one more right below it. Because our pupper astronaut needs to have places to put his stuff. And as you see, I just kind of pepper it with some lines, kind of trying to refine it a bit, show it a little more clearly. And as I go along, I just add in a little bit here, a little bit there. And it doesn't take long before you start seeing the whole shape coming together. Okay. I think we're going to add in a little bit more black on the bottom of these boots. In fact, let's add a little rise there to show the toe tips. Yeah, that looks good. And we'll do the same on the other side. And again, we just kind of try to match it up as we go along. And look at that. Pupper's got his boots. And we'll add maybe some accents along the side, just so it looks a little bit more high-tech. Wonderful. Now I think the existing darker spots that I have in here need to be darkened a bit. So what I'm going to do is make this harness and belt kind of that solid black color as well. Bring up the pen size, kind of help me out a little bit. And there we go. We have our cute little pupper. And add in a couple little lines down here, just to kind of show some shadow going behind him. Make sure we kind of uniform everything a bit. And just to add a little bit more sugar to the sweet, a happy puppy heart. And I am happy. And there you go, folks. That is a quick and dirty little astronaut pupper for you. And that will do everything for this video. Thank you all for coming. Like, subscribe, make sure to hit that bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time.